London is a global heart of finance, culture, politics, and history.
A metropolis where 300 languages are spoken and 40% residents are foreign-born.
This modern reality is the culmination of a relentless, 2 millennia-long narrative. From a Roman outpost to the nerve setter of history's largest empire.
A story of destruction, rebirth, absorbing newcomers, and constant reinvention.
A geographical blessing, a tidal river at a sheltered, bridgeable point.
Forged by its people's drive, history's accidents, and the flow of global wealth. The epic chronicle of a small Thames settlement growing into the capital of the world.
London's story begins not with the English, but with an invading force from the south. Emperor Claudius's legions pushed into Britain, seeking conquest and resources.
Recognizing the Thames's strategic potential, they established a garrison named Londinium.
It was the first narrow point from the estuary where a bridge could be reliably built.
For a brief period, the bustling port of Londinium thrived. In 60 AD, its promise was almost extinguished by a furious revolt.
The Romans abandoned the city. Boudicca's forces razed it, slaughtering its inhabitants. The charred red clay layer from this event remains a stark archaeological marker today. Yet, Roman resilience prevailed. After Boudicca's defeat, Londinium was reimagined. A grand forum and basilica were constructed, the largest such complex north of the Alps.
A governor's palace, temples, baths, and an amphitheater for gladiatorial games followed.
By the 1st century's end, it was Britannia's capital, with a population of 30,000.
Massive defensive walls of Kentish ragstone were erected to protect the vital city. These walls would define the city's boundaries for the next 1,600 years. By 410 AD, the last legions were recalled. Londinium was left to decay, a ghost town. Newell came with the Anglo-Saxons, who migrated across the North Sea. They established Londonwick, a new trading settlement west of the old ruins. In 604 AD, the first St. Paul's Cathedral was founded, re-establishing a Christian foothold. This prosperity proved a beacon for a new wave of sea-borne raiders, the Vikings.
In 871 AD, the great heathen army stormed and occupied the undefended Londonwick.
The city's salvation came from Wessex and its visionary king, Alfred the Great.
Around 886 AD, he refortified the old Roman city, moving the population within its walls.
This refounded city, Londonburg, became the keystone of a united England's defense. The next great transformation arrived from Normandy in 1066 with William the Conqueror. His coronation at Westminster Abbey on Christmas Day symbolized the transfer of power. To dominate the defiant city, he began constructing a series of formidable strongholds.
Plus vite! Travaillez!
The most formidable was the White Tower of the Tower of London, a stark Norman keep.
Under Norman rule, London's importance as a commercial hub grew exponentially.
In 1097, William II built Westminster Hall, the future seat of Parliament.
The High Middle Ages saw London evolve into a self-governing mercantile metropolis.
Its population exploded to 80,000 by 1300, making it England's largest city.
Growth was fueled by trade in wool and cloth with Flanders and the Hanseatic League.
In 1176, construction began on the first stone London Bridge, a wonder of its age.
Completed in 1209, it was a crowded street of houses and shops, the only fixed crossing.
London won its political freedom, electing its first mayor in 1189.
This autonomy was guaranteed by Magna Carta in 1215, securing the city's ancient liberties. Power rested with the livery companies, wealthy trade guilds like the goldsmiths. In 1348, the Black Death arrived on ships, killing perhaps half of London's population.
In 1381, the Peasants' Revolt saw a radicalized mob pour into the city, burning palaces.
They beheaded the Archbishop and Chancellor on Tower Hill.
Shatter!
Only young King Richard II's dramatic intervention at Smithfield quelled the uprising. The Tudor dynasty oversaw London's transformation into a Renaissance global nexus. The Reformation saw monasteries dissolved, their lands sold to create new districts. London's population rocketed from 50,000 to 200,000, bursting its medieval seams. The Royal Exchange, 1571, was founded as England's first dedicated centre of commerce. With theatres banned in the city, the Globe flourished in the liberty of Southwark. The 17th century was a century of violent upheaval, starting with the Gunpowder Plot. Political conflict spiralled into the English civil wars. London fortified itself.
After royalist defeat, the unthinkable, King Charles I was executed for treason.
For 11 years, England was a republic, with London as its capital.
The monarchy's restoration in 1660 was followed by biblical-scale calamity. In 1665, the Great Plague killed an estimated 100,000 Londoners.
Bring out your dead!
In 1666, the Great Fire raged for 4 days, obliterating the medieval city.
From the ashes arose a new, modern city, overseen by genius Sir Christopher Wren.
His masterpiece, the new St. Paul's Cathedral, became a symbol of resilience.
The disaster solidified a social divide. Wealthy West End versus the commercial city.
The 18th, 19th centuries saw London grow into the capital of a global empire. The Bank of England, Lloyd's, and the East India Company formed a commercial engine.
This wealth financed wars and colonial expansion, with spoils flowing into London's docks.
A frenzy of bridge building opened up the South Bank for development. Grand new civic spaces like Regent Street and Trafalgar Square were laid out.
From Buckingham Palace to the new Houses of Parliament, London donned imperial garments.
The Industrial Revolution drove London's population from 1 million to 6.5 million.
This created unimaginable wealth for the few and abject squalor for the many. Vast, disease-ridden slums were immortalized by Charles Dickens and social reformers. The Great Stink of 1858 forced the construction of Joseph Bazalgette's revolutionary sewers. The world's first underground railway, the Metropolitan Line, opened in 1863.
This was the zenith of Victorian London, capital of an empire on which the sun never set.
A city of stunning contrasts, soot-blackened factories and temples like the Royal Albert Hall.
A global melting pot with communities from across the British Isles, Europe, and Empire.
By 1901, London was the financial, political, and cultural lodestar of the globe.
London's ascent was never linear. It was a story punctuated by flames, plagues, and sword blows. Yet, each catastrophe was followed by an extraordinary resurgence and reinvention.
Each wave of newcomers added a new layer to its ever-evolving identity.
From Roman Londinium to Saxon Lundenburg, to the medieval city, to a global empire's heart.
Its geography provided the stage, but its character was forged by commerce, ambition, and diversity.
The modern city is a living palimpsest of this 2,000-year journey.
It is a city that has continually absorbed the world, becoming the world's capital.